Have you subscribed to my channel yet? Subscribe, it's important to me. Title: The Cost of Ambition. From the moment I met Lisa, I could tell she loved the finer things in life. It wasn't just the way she carried herself in her designer clothes, or how she meticulously picked out the right restaurant for dinner, or even the way her eyes lit up at the thought of a new handbag. She had a thing for luxury, and no amount of steady income from my regular 9 to 5 could ever keep up with her appetite for the finer things. We'd been married for 10 years, and we had 2 kids, Jacob and Lily, both under 8. On the outside, we were your typical middle-class family. I worked hard, loved my family, and was content with the life we had. Lisa, though, she'd always had a hunger for more clothes, more vacations, more money. And over time, her ambition to climb the career ladder at her marketing firm became crystal clear. It started with late nights at the office. There's a big project coming up, she'd say. I believe her because I trusted her. Then came the business trips, corporate needs me in New York. She'd tell me. At first, I didn't think much of it. Lisa had always been career-driven, and I respected that. I loved her determination. But there was always this lingering feeling in the back of my mind, like something was off. And then came the signs I couldn't ignore. A brand new handbag, an expensive one we certainly couldn't afford on her salary. I joked about it when she came home. New handbag? What happened to that budgeting plan we agreed on? I teased her. She flashed me a smile, the kind that said, asterisk, don't ask too many questions. Oh, this old thing. She waved her hand dismissively. I've had it for ages. But that wasn't the only thing. There were sudden changes in her appearance. Her hair was always perfectly done. She started dressing sharper, more professional, but in a way that screamed expensive. All the while, our joint bank account didn't seem to reflect any of these changes. It wasn't long before I started connecting the dots, but I tried to shake the thought out of my mind. One evening, while we were having dinner, I tried to bring it up casually. So, how's the big boss treating you? You mentioned he was taking a special interest in your work lately, I asked. She shrugged, not meeting my eyes. Oh, he's just giving me more responsibilities. I think a promotion might be on the horizon. But her tone was off. Too casual. Too rehearsed. Still, I let it go. I didn't want to seem paranoid or controlling. But the real twist came a few weeks later when I got a call from an old friend, Kevin. Kevin happened to be friends with one of Lisa's coworkers, her best friend, Amy. Kevin started the conversation lightly enough, but then he dropped the bombshell. Look, man, I don't want to stir the pot or anything, but Amy told me something that's been bothering her. She said Lisa's been real close with her boss. Too close, if you know what I mean. My heart stopped. I tried to laugh it off, tried to downplay it, but Kevin wasn't one to gossip for no reason. I don't have solid proof, Kevin said, but Amy thinks they've been seeing each other outside of work. I hung up the phone and stared at the wall. I wasn't angry, not yet, just confused. Could Lisa really be doing this? My mind raced back to all the signs, the late nights, the expensive handbags, the sudden business trips. It all lined up too perfectly, but I needed more than just rumors. I needed to confront her, and I needed to know the truth. That night, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, trying to figure out how to bring it up without sounding accusatory. By the time Lisa came home the next day, I was ready. She walked in, looking as polished as ever. I decided to ease into it with some humor, like I always did when I was nervous. So I started grinning at her. You've been moonlighting as a millionaire, or did I miss the memo on that new handbag policy? She laughed, but it was strained. Don't be silly. You know I got a bonus last month. I raised an eyebrow. A bonus? Big enough to cover luxury bags and spontaneous business trips. Her face paled slightly, but she kept her composure. What are you getting at? I leaned against the kitchen counter, crossing my arms. Lisa, I've heard from someone at your office. Rumor has it you're climbing the corporate ladder in more ways than one. Her eyes widened for just a second, and I knew that look. She was caught. That's ridiculous, she snapped, her voice defensive. Who told you that? Amy's been talking, I said calmly, and she's telling people things that don't sound like just business. Something about a trip to the beach. You don't surf, Lisa, so what were you doing at the ocean with your boss? Her face flushed. I don't know what Amy's talking about. She's clearly jealous. I cut her off. Jealous? Of what, Lisa? Of the promotion or the fact that you spent a weekend on the beach with your boss while telling me you were in Denver for a conference? She sputtered, trying to come up with something. It's not what you think. He invited the whole team. It was for networking. A business retreat. I nodded slowly, pretending to consider it. Business retreat? And you thought wearing a bikini was part networking. She scowled, realizing the excuses weren't working. Okay, fine. I was at the beach with him, but it was just to talk about my career. Talk? I couldn't help but laugh, even though it hurt. Sure, Lisa, you had a deep conversation about spreadsheets and quarterly projections while watching the sunset, right? She stood there, biting her lip. It wasn't supposed to happen. I wanted to get ahead. I've been working so hard, and he promised. I held up my hand. Promise what? That sleeping with him would get you a raise. That money would fix everything. Lisa looked down, silent. I took a deep breath. Look, I know you love money. I've known that since day one. But I didn't think you'd go this far. I didn't think you'd throw our marriage away for a few extra dollars and a title. Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't feel sympathy. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, she whispered. Well, it did, I said flatly, and I can't live like this. I won't. I've given you everything, Lisa, and this is how you repay me? She started crying, but I didn't move to comfort her. I was done. So what now? She asked between sobs. I don't know, I said, my voice hard, but I think it's time you find somewhere else to live. You can have the career, Lisa. You can have the boss, but you won't have me.